Here we go.
Well, hello there. How are you all? You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. Oh, it's Thursday, Thirsty Thursday, baby. And this is video 2 of possibly 4. Maybe, definitely 3, possibly 4. So keep your eyes peeled. Just waiting to see if any freshness comes out that we can speak about. But in this video, what we're doing, we're having a bit of a theory war. The war of the theories. Because look, before we have a conclusion, all we have is theory. We all have ideas. We all have thoughts and feelings. We all should respect everybody's thoughts and feelings. We all are entitled to our opinions. What I don't like as a content creator is when people try to push theory out as fact, speculation out as fact. They push it as if they have absolutely solved something, but then when you read into it and you bolster that with stuff that isn't accurate, then you lose a bit of credibility. Now, I've done it in the past. I have reported on things and it has turned out that I have been wrong and I have had to retract statements, pull videos. We can get things wrong. But when people point out that someone's wrong and they double down on it, I lose my ability to offer them any form of credence. And I'm not pointing the finger at any single person because it's rife across the platform, especially around the Idaho 4 case. 100%. So, but let's look into the two most kind of pondered over theories around the Idaho 4 case. Let's look at narcotics, for instance, right? Because a lot of people think that the Idaho 4 case was tied into narcotics. There was something that happened around narcotics and these kids or young adults, students, lost their life. Now, why does that hold any weight whatsoever? Well, it holds some weight because some of the parents around these individuals were tied into the narcotic world at different kind of levels, with Xana Kanoodle's mum probably being the most prolific. But this is going on all over the country, and all over the world. All over the world, there are narcotics industries. Countries have been bought and paid on that industry. There have been entire countries built on the profits of narcotics. And you're not ever going to get rid of it. You're not ever going to do anything to stop it. But with respect to the Idaho 4 case, have we truly seen an absolute tie between the individuals in the house and narcotics to the extent that it would warrant a mass murder? A mass murder done in this way. Now, you can't deny that there was things on the peripheral that were happening in the area, but that's just, how can I say, that's just convenience that you can turn around and say, well, when this happened, this was also happened. That would be like saying that at the time of the Idaho 4 murders, there was extra activity in the air with respect of unidentified flying objects. Do you know what I mean? And then attributing that to the Idaho 4 case, saying, well, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that aliens came down and executed in that house because there was a lot of sites of UEPs now. Now, again, I'm not taking it 100% off the table, and you can easily look online and look at all the connections between all of these people of the crime itself, detached away from the Idaho 4. What I'm looking for is something that absolutely ties an individual, so either Xana, Ethan, Kaylee or Maddie, into the crime of distribution of narcotics. That's what I'm looking for. Not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying you can't 100% say that this was a narcotics-related incident if you can't get one of the individuals and absolutely show a link between that world and them. You can't just go through the parent. Like Xana Kanoodle's mum, for instance, she knew fuck all about Xana. She knew nothing. When they were speaking, and she done her interviews, and they were talking to Cara about Xana's life, she couldn't really answer any questions about it because she had that little to do with her. So would there be some repercussions to Xana if Cara Norvington had done anything in the narcotics world? Would that... Do you know what I mean? I just don't know. And again, I'm not taking it off the table. I'm just saying that it's quite a convoluted way to attribute narcotics and what was going on to these students. Which brings me to the frat boy theory, because these two are the most highly sort of thought of theories. And don't get me wrong, there are others. There are some people out there who do feel that potentially Bryan Kohberger could have had something to do with this crime. Ex-military, troubled, skilled in killing. It was a military weapon, or we've been told it was a military weapon. And someone with, if this was a single solitary killer, then the person who went into that house, I would struggle to believe that this was their first rodeo. But again, that's just me. Again, it's a theory. It's not the top of my list, but it's something that is out there on the peripheral. But the frat boy theory, in my opinion, holds the most weight, and I'm going to show you why it holds the most weight, in my opinion. And to do so, we have to look at numerous things. First of all, we're just going to look at this, which is hazing. And let me just put this forward. I am not saying that the Idaho 4 case was a hazing death. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what we know is, in sorority and fraternity houses, there has been many, many deaths surrounding hazing alone. And why is that important? Why is that important? If you're not saying that that's a hazing death, Harsh, then what relevance has that got to the Idaho 4 case? Now, what I'm saying to you is this. I believe that if this was a narcotics situation, then someone around this crime would have spoken out, because they would have been angry at this. Someone would have said something. Somebody would have said something. They would have pointed the finger and said what was going on. You can't control everybody in that situation unless all of the people that know have a real tight allegiance to one another. And that is what the sorority and fraternity houses, where they differ, to the point where they even have rules set in place that if something happens, call us before calling law enforcement. And I would suggest that that is done because they want to know, firstly, do we truly have to involve law enforcement because we know the impact that that can have on our organisation? Or if we have to call law enforcement, how can we get our shit straight to protect us? That's my thoughts and feelings. That's just common sense. So when we look at it, we've got these, right? So we've got deaths. 105 college student deaths in the past 23 years have lost their lives in the hands of hazing. And again, why is that important? Because this represents the ability for there to be deaths within it. And this is just what they know about. This is just what we know about. And this is why we're going to talk on two very, very specific cases in a second. So 11 were caused by car accidents, 60 involves the presence of alcohol, 7, you can see that on the screen, 6 were caused by a fatal fall, 6 were caused by sleep deprivation. And again, has in these 105 cases, anybody or everyone involved in this been charged with manslaughter, for instance? After all, look at the Liam Payne case. We have Liam Payne, who falls from a balcony, apparently, and Rogelio Norris charged with neglectful homicide. So, look, let's just look at this, right? So, in this case, we do have people who have been charged. So, Dartmouth sorority and 2 fraternity members charged over death of student. Wang Zhang drowned in Connecticut River in July after party where alcohol was supplied by his fraternity. So this is attributed to one of the alcohol-style deaths. And again, keep with me, because we're going to get to the point here in a second. So what we're saying is, yes, there can be people who are charged when these go wrong. And there have been charges in this case here, a drowning, right? So then we look at this. We'll come back. Well, we can look at this one now, actually, because when you factor in, look at the Kylie Rodney case, for instance. Missing California teen found in reservoir. Where was Kylie Rodney? Kylie Rodney was in a car in a reservoir. Now, you can either think or feel that that was a close, open and shut case. But what do we know about it? We know that there was a party there. There was a load of people there. Load of people. And that was controlled by the people within the party. Within the party. If you followed that case, you will see the multitude of issues from Kylie Rodney's supposed friend controlling the students and the kids who are in this area, not going to law enforcement, come to us and speak to us. If you're too scared to go to law enforcement, come to us first. We saw the fire cam footage that literally shows Kylie Rodney's car going into the water, but then other cars going backwards and forwards around it. Are you saying that no fucker knew that Kylie Rodney's car went into that water? Kylie Rodney was underage and fed alcohol. She ended up in a car in a reservoir and ended up dead, and nobody spoke. Nobody spoke at all. There was a party, apparently, with hundreds of people, but yet there's no proof of it. But there is witnesses that state that there was a gathering, but they don't state that the numbers were anywhere near. So what does that look? That just looks like they try and make the party look so much bigger to dilute the people who could have potentially been involved in what happened to Kylie. Oh, there's people from all over the place who came in. But Kylie Rodney died in a car, and it was a fucking weird one. But nobody spoke. Absolutely nobody spoke. No one at all. Right? And then we have Hannah Clary and Hudson Lindow. Now, why are these important? Now, Hannah Clary is a bit of a funny one, right? So Hannah Clary is someone who potentially was involved in Madison Mogan. Yeah, there was a link there, and they've said that there was potentially bullying between them, and this was something where the individual could have potentially decided to exit stage left or the right. Again, I'm trying to stay PC for YouTube so we actually get the video on. But Hannah Clary died. You can see it on screen. Apparently over-the-counter sleep medication. Now, again, there's a lot of things around the Hannah Clary situation. Some people have even suggested that it's not how she died at all. In fact, some have suggested that she was killed in another way, and there was evidence of that. But Hannah's own family have apparently come out and kind of poo-pooed that. So it's a difficult one, and it's something that I can't really get behind at this stage, even though there are people out in the ether that are doing as much as they can to try and attribute this as a murder and connect it to the Idaho 4 and potentially that this was a retaliation for Hannah Clary. But again, in my opinion, it doesn't really hold a massive amount of weight. We know, for those of you who know, if you know, you know, you got Justin. Someone just posted in one of the Facebook groups that Hannah's roommate took pictures and that she was actually, and you can see that on the screen, that there was blood under her torso region in her bed and that the OD is a cover-up. So, and again, but do these pictures exist? Is this truth? Is this fiction? Who knows? But this person who writes this article here, which is on Medium, Ted Bauer, again, I think he's the same as me. Hannah's dad even said to put it to rest. Again, if he was involved in some degree of retaliation, would he openly say that, or would he be more likely to say, let's put it to rest? Who knows? But, look, we then have Hudson Lindow. Now, Hudson, he died, right? So he appeared to die in a creek in May. There's possibly a hazing ritual gone wrong, as the creek wasn't that deep. That's the important part here. The creek wasn't even that deep, so he's died in real shallow water. Here's the obit, which you can click on there. I'm not going to do that. And here's a video featuring a picture of him outside 1122 King Road partying. That video did exist. That video has subsequently been pulled down. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why is there a huge amount of online people around the Idaho 4 case that are doing their absolute utmost to try and pull attention away from the fraternity brothers and the sorority sisters? It gets to the point where so much of it happens that I question why. Why is so many people failing to address some glaringly, shockingly some issues that just mean that you can't. Can you truly ignore it? Can you truly ignore it? And it's not about pointing the finger. I'm just going over what I see. And again, I don't take the narcotics thing completely off the table. I just have not seen any credible links that link the individuals inside the home directly to the narcotic world, apart from via their parents. And I look at the parents and what they've actually done, and I don't think that's enough. I don't think it's enough. Or there'd be people fucking dying like this all over the place. Because I would say that there's worse scenarios. There's worse stuff going on. Money being stolen. Shit like that. I just don't know. I know there's stories, but I'm talking about real, tangible proof that is bolstered with stuff that is completely factual and accurate all the way through. But, okay, so the crack on Hudson is that apparently 30th of the 4th, on the night before he died, or the night he died, essentially, he was at a party where Xana, Kaylee, Jack Showalter, and others were present. So you've got Xana and Kaylee, who were over... You've got Xana with Ethan. You've got Kaylee, who was with Maddie. So you've got the two different floors. And then you've got Jack Showalter. Now, did Jack Showalter leave the area, or did he not? Did Jack Showalter leave the order, or did he not? And he was seen walking around with Kaylee and Maddie on the actual night of the crime. And you've got Hudson Lindow, who potentially died after spending time with them, right? So the whole Hudson thing points to maybe someone knew too much. Did somebody, or was somebody talking and speaking about what happened? Because this got ruled as an accident. Right? Which, let's just look, right? This seems more probable than the Hannah theory, but I'm still not completely sold. Here's a DM related to this tweet, throwing water on the theory. Hudson was a close friend of my cousin's. His death was 100% an accident. 100% an accident. How can someone turn around and say that's 100% an accident unless they were walking alongside him when it happened? Nobody knows what happened. So nobody can say 100% an accident, can they? That's not fact. That's not chucking water on the theory, as this person says. They're obviously trying to chuck water on the theory, but it's a mess, isn't it? He dies strangely. You can see that in the Hazing statistics, you've got 60 involved in presence of alcohol. You've got the Kylie Rodney case in itself, which was another drowning with a load of students around her that weirdly nobody fucking knew about. You've got other people who have been charged with crimes for their involvement in pretty much the same thing. But Hudson Lindow, Moscow of Idaho student, drowns. The people around it are saying, no, definitely 100% an accident, 100%. Was it an accident? Was it? Or was it a death attributed to Hazing that went fucking tits up, someone lost their life, and then everybody shut the fuck up about it? Because that's the point here. The point here, what I'm trying to make, is that people die. People die around these universities all the time in alarming numbers, and they shut the fuck up about it. They do not say anything about it. And I said a while ago, the fact that it is so silent around this case, and that the university itself took so much interest, so much control, to the point where they bought the house, or got given the fucking house, but they acquired the house, they knocked it down, and they buried it. That's how much involvement the university had in it. Now, what we're saying, that the university is trying to hide them being complicit in the narcotics world? Are we saying that the University of Idaho is actually being bolstered by the narcotics world? Well, if that's the case, why the fuck would they even bother trying to buy the problematic university that is the Phoenix University? Because it's worth money. It's worth a shitload of money. And if they were really up to their nuts in this, do you know what I mean? Would they need that money? Would they need it, or would they want to bring the attention that brings when they've got this stuff going on? I can't buy into that. I can't buy into it. But I feel that we have evidence that there was a fight. That's what I feel that we have evidence. Again, argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong. We have evidence of a fight involving victims of this crime and other people. We have people's DNA being found at the scene, both at the crime scene itself and outside the property, that are being hidden. They are being protected. Now, is it being protected because it's part of a bigger conspiracy and involved in the narcotics? Well, who knows? Maybe trials will come out and it will tell us all what happened. And if that happens, I will fucking apologize, because I do heavily doubt the narcotics angle. Again, I'm not taking it off the table. I just feel that the silence around it and the fact that we know that if something happens within these sororities and fraternities, there is absolute fucking silence. Look at the Timmy Reed situation. Timmy Reed, another University of Idaho student who was sleeping with a weapon under his bed, under his pillow, because he was getting threatened. 50 students turn up at his room and batter the shit out of him and put him in hospital. And the fucking university weren't going to do anything about it. And weren't until his family privately went to law enforcement and they raised a private case. They raised it and said, we're not letting you push it under the rug. We are going to sort it out. Do you know what I mean? These things happen. And it's all around these students, fraternities and sororities. These are businesses. These are businesses. And when you've got these businesses within a business, and you've got a town that is built and continues to build and thrive because of the university, the linchpin of it all, and you've got this massive deal worth over $500 million, and then you've got these little fucking idiots that could potentially be doing stuff that could put all that to shit. What would be the repercussions of that? Is that enough for people to keep their fucking mouths shut, to destroy their entire lives, to ruin their education, to... it is what it is. Look at some of the parents' behaviour. Look at Ethan Chapin's family, for instance. What's going to happen in the aftermath of his death in terms of how they have progressed, both with the university and how they have spoken out and spoken on certain things? You've only got to see the silence and the way people have behaved. Do you truly believe that if these deaths were somehow connected to the narcotics world, that somebody wouldn't have said something along anywhere, gone to media anonymously and said something? You could argue the same with the sororities and the fraternities. Yeah, I get it. But history tells us that these students are willing to kill, and they're willing to hide it. And it happens all the time. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Mwah.